as Carl Morris breaks off here against Neil Raybone in this final last 16 match that we'll be showing you here on Ultimate Pool TV. Quarterfinals follow this.
Well, a very colourful character is Carl. Very animated at the table, and also sometimes when he's not at the table he can be animated in his seat.
Yeah, animated is a pretty good word to describe him, I would suggest. The quarterfinal lineup, by the way, is now almost fully in shape. The winner of this will be the final quarterfinalist.
Yes, I've had many a battle actually with Carl over the years. Still quite a bit younger than me, but he was a very tough opponent to play. Obviously won a world championship in 1998. And yeah,
Final
I don't think we ever had a quite,
was it?
Sorry?
Final again in 2000.
Yeah.
Lost a twist.
That's it, Jason. Yeah, God rest his soul. Very sadly missed, Jason, the tornado twist. He's a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, it was helping the Ultimate Pool team put together the sort of one of the launch videos for the World Championships, obviously coming up in a few days. And what always strikes me when I sort of scrub back through the archive footage that's made up of about 18 pixels for the whole screen and all the rest of it, is just how big a part of that era of the game Jason Twist was. Whether it was winning or being deep or in finals, he was categorically one of the best players in the world in an era that's widely considered as when pool was at its absolute heyday.
When he first got to the final in 1995 and he lost to Daz Ward. And then 96, I actually put him out in 96 in the last 16. But then it wasn't long before he was always knocking on the door. He was always at the business end of that tournament, and not just the Worlds. He was there. He's probably, when you look back at all the great England players in that era, which was Mick Hill, Darren Appleton, Chris Mellon was obviously very young then, but he was there playing. Gareth Potts, these are great players, and he probably was the most consistent performer out of the lot of them.
Carl went for the lot there. It was a tough shot that he was trying to play, and I think he's called a foul on himself, which is good to see.
Yeah, we couldn't quite see. I think the ball must have come back and hit his tip as he cued it, or something along those lines. But always at these events, always played great sportsmanship.
Well, here we go. Here's the shot again. Yeah, did it?
I think it
come back on his tip. He screwed back.
I think it did. He just tickled his tip and he felt it, and he's called it. So,
well, fair play to Carl there. And I think as players of a certain generation, fair play to him. It's not something that would probably come naturally. One of the real proponents of the darkest arts is Houdini Morris. As Neil's development shot there has gone a little wrong, and I just wonder if he's going to pull back. I think it would probably be a little wise in this situation.
Well, Neil Raybone, another player I know very well. When I played on the tour, that was actually my last ever match on the tour before I retired, was against Neil Raybone. So he basically ended my career. Bless him.
Well, yeah, what a way to go, though.
Well, it was because in my entire career I was never ever late for a match, and the night before I'd played Matt Cook, and I basically said to Matt Cook with first to seven, I said for every time I dish you tonight, I said I'm going to down a Bacardi and Coke. He said, well, at least I'll keep you sober. I beat him 7-0 in about 18 minutes. So obviously I had a few Bacardi, so I went into town to celebrate as well, and I was a little bit late for my quarter-final match with Mr. Raybone, as in 3-0 down when I got to the table, and it's the first time I'd ever been late for a match, and I didn't make it too tough for him to put me away.
Yeah, I mean, that'll do it.
That was a good few years ago now. I think it was 2006, something like that. I said. A great player, Neil. I mean, he's always been very consistent. I remember him as an England junior when he came up, and he was always. We always looked at him, and he was highlighted for success. You knew he was going to be a good player.
Well, I think it's mad to me just how long Neil's been around, because it doesn't feel like he's that old. There's certain players, like we just saw Dylan Leary there, who he plays on the seniors tour. He's been around the game a very, very long time. Players like Chris Melling, for example, famous from back in the day. But Neil is from a very similar generation, 8-ball wise, whilst being a little bit younger. Yeah. He's a World Masters champion, I think, in 2009. Little return to form in recent weeks. We've spotted he went well at the last man standing, won a few games, beat Tom Cousins. Well, he's going to need his break to not be savagely kicked in off. That'll help out. But he looked good in the Pairs Cup recently, the Pairs Cup recently as well, with Andy Blurton, qualified through, and just due a bit of a confidence boost, I think. And with that comes that high level and consistency that Neil will be looking for. He has been a finalist with Ultimate Pool.
I think we're going to get with Neil. You're always going to get a decent performance out of him. I've never seen him turn up and just play utter rubbish. Which I've done on many occasions. And there are players that do that. They reach incredible heights, but then all of a sudden you think they've never played before. I've seen so many players. But what I will say is that Neil I don't know. He can never just get like a couple in a row. He's one of them. He'll turn up and he'll get to the quarters, he'll get to the semis, and just to land a couple of big titles in a row, because he's been around long enough to do it.
Oh, Carl. There's a little bit of bother there.
Careless from Carl there a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
Sporting the usual trousers. Rupert with the bear not having anything to wear today. He's got himself back in a good position. She's been a bit out of position here and there during this finish. And he's back in again. Old Houdini. A little bit closer to that red than he would have liked, and he's now got limited space of where he can hit or put the tip onto the cue ball. I think he'll just be playing his plain ball, trying to drip back into the sort of brown spot area.
Yeah, he's got a decent sized gap to hit. Just needs to be precise. Goes twice across just to make sure, I think. I like his choice. He's just telling it to hurry on a little bit there, as I think he might be queuing over the red here. No, he's just oh, well, he was wanting to be just okay, but I think that little check there has shown he isn't. So this is now just feels a little bit more missable, but it should be okay.
The elevation in the cue makes it that much harder. Great shot.
Played it really well.
Raybone tapping his knee there in appreciation.
Yeah, lovely visit to table from Carl Morris there. Clearance off the break for Houdini. Mentioned the quarter-final lineup is just awaiting one of these fine gentlemen. It is all set bar this match. Oh, terrible break from Carl. Neil will get the first go at these, and on a lovely split he has been left as well. It will be yellows, I would imagine. Tom Cousins will take on Aaron Davies. That match is next. We'll then see David Hogan take on Dylan Leary. An all-Ireland match there. Sean Storey will then take on Cormac Kerr. Rob Warne awaits the winner of this one. Interesting, there's a few names in that final 8, or final 7 as it stands, that, you know, you're thinking, okay, quarter-final now, can you push on? Maybe a new winner, or a winner that we've not had in a while in the case of Sean Storey, but there's still Tom Cousins in the mix. Just the truly remarkable thing with TC, and it's not the wins, even though that is pretty remarkable, but he is just so relentlessly it's quarter-final. You never see him go out in the early rounds. He's just always there or thereabouts to win a tournament. You've got to really work hard to get him out of there. You know, for all the numerous world-class players that have won tournaments and are in good form, you know, you think of the likes of Melling, McAllister, all the rest of it, Shepherd, don't feel like it's uncommon for them to dip out early because of senior performance. It just doesn't seem to happen to TC. He's like Teflon.
Yeah, he's just a sort of, it's like a very big barge sailing down the river that you can't stop heading towards the final.
It's like that barge that got stuck in the canal last year.
Well,
he's stuck in the quarterfinals until he moves on.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But that, myself and Simon were talking earlier, and I said to Simon, I said, the standard is so high, but to have a player that constantly gets through to the latter stages and wins plenty of these events, like, as I'm referring obviously to Tom, is incredible, because the standard's that high, and you know,
it's never been harder to do that.
No.
You know, you think about the conditions, the volatility, the races, the standard, so many different factors go into why it shouldn't be possible for that to happen. And yet, as Neil knocks in that 8 ball to complete a pretty routine reverse clearance there. Cracking battle coming up between Dave and Dylan Leary. Oh, Neil scratched the break again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm on the commentary for that. So they're all cracking quarterfinals, potentially.
Yeah, fitting to have
fireworks.
Yeah, fitting to have an Irishman on the All-Ireland match.
Or 2. One from the north and one from the south.
It's interesting to hear what Dylan Leary said in his interview, that, you know, he's obviously got a big fortnight coming up at the Worlds with Northern Ireland because they've got 2 team titles to defend. They won the shootout and the team event in Morocco. And it was interesting listening to him because he said, you know, I don't want to be the person to let that team down. That team is amazing. Look how stacked it is. I don't want to be the one that stops them from winning. You know, and that's how great teams are formed, isn't it? Because you get a selection of players who are all very good, but the idea of being the one to let them down elevates them all to a level of that's even higher.
Yeah, they had a magnificent World Championships last year, that's for sure.
It's a decent squad for this year as well.
Declan Brennan, Ronan McCarthy, Dylan Leary. That's just straight off the top of the head.
Yeah, Callum Singleton's back in the Northern Ireland squad. He missed Morocco but was there in Killarney, so he's part of the squad again. So Callum Singleton, Declan Brennan, Dylan Leary, Gary Clark, Lee Hull, Rab McCullough, Ronan Fay, Ronan McCarthy. Lee Hull's a new name for me. Looking forward to seeing how he goes. There's a couple of players missing from the team that were so successful in Morocco. But I mean, it's a brilliant lineup, isn't it? And even the sort of, let's put this in heavy inverted commas, but the so-called weaker players, you know, the likes of Ronan Fay, for example, who's on the Challengers, Rab McCullough the same on the Challengers, Gary Clark, who's in the lower ranks of the Pros, for example. Put him in a Northern Ireland top and it's a different game altogether. Some of the best players in the tournament. Yeah, we say Ronan Fay and Rab McCullough in the Challengers. Well, Rab's won a Challenger event and Ronan's been to a final, so they're at the upper end of it. It's a very good squad. Main challenge, I think, will come from England. But that Wales squad is tasty this year. England squad's good. Got Aaron Davies, Dom Cooney, Eddie Barker, Giuseppe D'Imperio, Carl Sutton, Lee Kendall, Luke Gilbert, Mike King, Scott Pope, Shane Thompson. That's a decent and very deep squad. The Wales one is interesting to me because they've got as good a squad as they've had in years. Andy Williams, Cole Bedford, Elliot Coombe, Jonathan Coleman, Oli Bale is back, Richard Gifford, Ross Dunn, Tom Cousins, Will Osborne, Zach Shepherd. So
Oli Bale is back. I did ask him at the reception. I said, "Which country are you playing for this year, then?" "Oh, I was playing for Wales." Well, apart from the time he played for Ireland.
But I thought it was interesting.
I thought he was playing for the Reunion Islands.
I thought it was interesting. You know, Wales got to the final last year where they were beaten by Northern Ireland, but they had that famous victory over England in the semis. And they've since added Cole Bedford and Oli Bale. That squad has now got stronger.
I did recall an interesting conversation. We were at the last pro event here in Blackpool between Tom Cousins and Cole Bedford. I was privy to it when Tom was saying, just because of Cole, he said, "You do remember when the World Championships is, don't you?" And he goes, "Hang on a minute, I've got a ticket for the football." He said, "They go in the Euros to go and watch England." He said, "Why do you want to go and watch England when you play for Wales?" Which was quite comical. I wandered off. I thought, well, I'll leave them to it.
Plenty of other nations will be hoping to be in the mix for that championship. South Africa are back, Reunion, Scotland, Senegal, New Zealand, Mauritius, Malta. Ireland have got a good team this year. Stevie Dempsey, Sean Sharkey leading the charge for them.
They'll always have a steady side. Ireland, my old nation. Well, it's still my nation, but my old team.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I'll be quietly rooting for them.
Yeah, and excited to see Algeria as well this year. Good to see the Algerians back.
Yeah, it's a good lineup.
Yeah, excellent, and looking forward in particular to the men's team shootout, which is coming up a week on Monday. Got the women's on Monday in a few days, which is a cracking way to open up the World Championship fortnight. Neil Raybone goes 3-1 up.
He was well into that. I think his shirt got to the quarters.
Well, imagine if you were still playing, Tony. Some of the shirts you've had on display this weekend, you'd be well in it with a shout of winning any competition there.
Well, so I live in Cornwall, so you know, and it is officially summer, even though the weather doesn't really reflect that.
Yeah, has it reached Cornwall yet, or is it the same as the rest of the country?
We've had some sun.
Yeah.
Apart from coming in here with a surfboard wrapped around me or something. Turned up in a beach buggy.
I'm actually going camping in Cornwall in precisely 1 month's time.
Are you?
And I hope summer's arrived by then.
Whereabouts are you going? Because I'll warn them.
the lovely area of Foy.
Very nice down there.
Crucially spelt Fowie, which I've always thought was mad.
Foy.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful how you say it down there.
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. Only pronounce it right because I pronounced it wrong before.
Yeah, very beautiful part of the world down there. It'll be very busy down there when you go, I imagine.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, unless it's teeming it down with rain.
Don't think it matters because people have put their holidays, they still come anyway. Regardless, the great British tourist, undeterred. Couple of pairs of wellies on, umbrella, you're set to go.
Yeah, wellies and surfboard combination, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Surfing farmers, you can't beat them. Well, we've got the cue ball up just enough here to be able to play that red into the centre. Big frame this for Neil. Gets himself 3 front.
Oh, he's found a lovely line there.
Well, he didn't want to. He wanted to nudge that black ball out that's next to the yellow.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
I think he wanted to just nudge in there and hold on the other one in the middle, but... Well, he's still in position, but this black has to move. Oh, I wonder if it does go into the top right-hand corner without being moved.
I think it does.
I mean, then...
You might even go right middle, but I think top right is the safest bet. And I think at this stage, you probably don't really want to risk moving it.
No, if you can get a position and behind it, you fancy to knock it in. I mean, it was okay where he was. He had sort of a free go to try and move it, but he's looking like he wants to.
Yeah, he's going into it here, so he's going to come off the side cushion and come back into this 8-ball in yellow. He's got the red waiting over left centre. Big shot required here from the Razor. Oh, how about this? How's this, Tony?
As long as it doesn't stick to the yellow, but no. Well, the black
shot.
does go into the bottom left now.
And he's got a smidge of angle, a smidge. He needs to pot this red on the thin side and come back across. But that's a lovely line that Neil Raybone has picked out.
Lovely.
Yeah, how well done was that?
Very impressive from Neil Raybone, I have to say. Well, this has been a very good performance.
Neil's still not getting the break right, but don't think he'll mind too much. I think a ball went down there, or is it dry? No, I think it's dry. Yeah, I thought he made one of the balls at the bottom there. I thought I heard the noise, but he is deceiving me. But he didn't strike it very well either. Neither player's got their break right, and that's been a bit of a theme of today, I've noticed. Players just struggling to get their breaks on rhythm. Even Dylan, for as well he played in the last match, struggled with his break. The thing is for Carl here is he's going finish chasing. He's got a bit of work to do on this. The 8-ball goes, it's awkward, but he's got a lovely red to basically land on the 8-ball, but the work at the top of the table is needing doing.
I'm not so sure. I think that one at the top round, would it slide along there just slowly and drop in?
He'll certainly be hoping so. If not, he's going into it maybe off this red to the right centre.
It's a tough one to see because it's very close to that yellow, but if there's any sort of gap between red and yellow, that red will go. We'll find out pretty much now. Because
well, the way that he's taking this red off the table now is it's going to show this. So he can either take the middle one and punch up to the top rail, or he can take the thin cut now.
I think he feels it goes.
Yeah, you can tell by the way he's played that shot that it does. Doesn't want to hold the 8. Oh, he's got away with that. Or has he? He just tied the 8-ball up there. Well, he's pretty quick to continue playing. He's got away with that. If the 8-ball still goes.
A dicey little moment there. Tidy little finish there from Morris.
Yeah, did all right there. That is the best break of the match by a mile.
First glance, yellows for me.
Yeah, he's got the yellow top right, which is a problem, but I think he can maybe make it a 3-ball plant. If the red and yellow are set together, he doesn't have to open it up if he doesn't want to.
Oh, we're going to try and shift it now, I think.
Yeah, well, it's having the ball to make the 3-ball plant, isn't it? That's his issue here. So he'll open it up off the top cushion. Doesn't want to go the cue ball to the right side rail here. Wants to be the near side of it. Well, he's missed his cannon. That's disaster.
What he has done though is he could play that yellow that's just directly above him and play that 3-ball plant you were just saying about, Stephen?
I think that has to be the shot now.
I think I'd play it. I don't think he's seen it. Rather disgruntled as he stomps around the table. I don't think he's looked at it. I think he's just fixated on this yellow at the bottom of the table and not thought about that at all.
He may come back to it, but yeah, because I mean his issue is his balls to break out are slim now. The one closest to the top left corner pocket is an option. Is he seeing it now? No, he's still looking to break out, I think.
Hello, now he's seen it. This would have been a lot easier actually earlier.
No, he's going.
Oh, he's gone for the plant.
Oh, that's clever. That's really clever. Different way around it, but same outcome. Really, really clever shot.
Yep, great shot.
And actually a harder shot for me.
Yeah, I'd rather play the ball into it, I must admit, but then...
Because judging the line of a cue ball versus judging the line of an object ball, I think's a lot harder.
Yeah,
when you've got to be really precise with it. But that was beautifully played by Carl Morris. Very good.
Knows his angles very well, as you'd expect. Very creative in the shot department as well.
Yeah, and Carl's the first to tell you he's never, and he'll say this himself, he's never been as good. He's never been the best player in the world in terms of, even though he's been a world champion and he was the world #1 in the sport's heyday for a couple of years, I think, around the turn of the millennium. But he would say he was never the best player in the world, but what he was he was able to absolutely maximise the very most out of what he had. Yeah, and he's been a sort of regular exhibitioner for a long time, and when you are sort of a regular on that sort of circuit, especially for the length of time that Carl has been, it gives you access to some shots that you wouldn't necessarily always think about. I'm thinking of the one that he played against Scott Gillespie. That was an exhibition shot.
Yeah, I was watching the old Massey and also to get on the black ball as well.
It's the best shot I've ever seen. It's absolutely the best shot I've ever seen. And it's actually amazing how many random people that I would never expect to message me about 8-ball pool have messaged me saying, "This is you, isn't it?" There's a clip of Morris doing that shot.
Well,
so Carl opting to tie things up, and he'll think that's a good shot.
Raybone undecided what to do still.
Well, can you blame him?
No.
Try to find a way to get the cue ball back into baulk.
Oof. Hello. I don't know if you wanted both of those balls, but there's. How about this?
Bit of a double doink from Carl Morris.
I think he might play a loss of turn here. Well, that was a quick bit of developing there from Morris. His first glance at that table, I think, well, this is going to be no quick fix to it, but one Little master stroke there from Houdini, and trying to put Neil Raybone on the back foot.
Tight and tetchy frame incoming. Crucial frame as well. Difference between 4-all and 5-3. Neil Raybone looks pretty happy with waiting his turn.
More bumps and kicks from Carl Morris as he goes about his business, trying to get himself back onto level terms with Neil Raybone. Giving himself an opportunity as well. Nicely played once again. Morris waving his arms at various random balls, but still in good position. Well, that was one bump and kick too many there, Carl. I thought we could have just potted that clean and come out and took the 2 balls, but he elected to play a little cannon again. And this time it failed, and he's given Neil Raybone what you'd probably call a half chance. He's played that very well. He's got the yellow out, and that half chance has now become more of an 80% in favour of Neil finishing. Carl will be annoyed because he didn't have to attempt the more elaborate shot, which he failed to dispatch. Another nice shot from Raybone, but what's the cue ball doing? If he sits in them yellows, he's in trouble. Just about right. Important for Neil Raybone here to stop the rot. He got himself a nice 4-1 lead, and so Morris has come to life. And this is his first real opportunity, Raybone, for a couple of frames, and has to make the most of it, you feel. And it looks like he's doing just that. Pretty much now perfect. So he's moved from 80% on, I would say, pretty much 99.9. Raybone's going to hold off Morris as the Morris comeback, should I say. Get himself back to 2 in front. Pot this and stop the white dead. Simple black now for Neil Raybone. And Carl will be annoyed, but it's the man from the Midlands who now goes 5-3 up.
Straighten off, is it always saved? No, he isn't.
Oof.
Neil Raybone can break the back of the match. Carl Morris knows it. Neil Raybone senses it.
Morris turned once again. Just when you thought Morris was coming back to get this match on level terms, he made that little error. Raybone punished him with a good finish, and now he's gone in off the break. And Neil must be bubbling inside if he can get himself 6-3 up, one away from a quarter-final date with the whacker. Must be able to get through to this yellow at the bottom of the table. Look at it, I thought the Cuba might just scrape the first yellow on its way in here, but still tricky to get position. And he's fooled me there, he hasn't gone game, he's elected for the safety. I have to say that's probably the right decision. Morris needs the pot out of this snooker because just hitting a red is just not going to be good enough, I would have thought. Well, he's got a second prize there. He's managed to bump one of his reds in, and it's sort of disrupted Neil Raybone's path to victory in his frame because it's now sandwiched between the two yellows. So Carl got a second prize there. Just developing the yellow. Feels that he's not leaving Carl anything too dangerous. A little bit jiggery pokery going on now. There's Carl now. He's just knocked two reds off the rail, and he's left anything particularly easy. I mean, Neil can cut this yellow along the bottom rail, but it's getting a cue ball into a decent position, and the yellow now that's over near the left centre I think is blocked by another of Carl's reds. Raybone now trying to force Carl Morris to push his reds away from these yellows, but if I'm Carl, I just go back off the side rail and take the chance of hitting one of the two in the middle of the table. But now he's going upstairs with this. So Carl just called his extension as he has another peek.
Well, that's the thing with Carl. He's a very unpredictable player at times because no one else really thinks like he does.
Well, he played the loss of turn. He hit the red, he screwed the cue ball back, and he all deliberate to knock Neil's yellow in, but he wanted to push the yellow at the top of the table behind the red at the top, which is a very elaborate safety. And you see he just banged his cue on the floor. Yeah, he's not happy because he has left an opportunity. If he got that yellow behind the red, it was a very clever shot.
Yeah.
Oops. And just for a second there, I thought Neil Raybone might have gone it off. Now then, can Neil pot this one in the centre, just bring the cue ball into the rail, bring it off the rail a little bit so he can get to the yellow into the bottom right hand corner. He wants to be pretty much straight on it if he can. I think he wanted to come about another 2 inches. Can he drop this in dead weight and hold the cue ball? Yes, he can.
Perfect.
Carl will be fuming.
Yeah, he had his chances. He had his chances.
Nicely done there by Neil. It's Black to get himself one away from that quarter-final with Rob Warren. In it goes. So Carl needs Raybone to go dry or foul off the break. Well, he has gone dry and he's open. Look at these.
Well, that is a way to get yourself into a match if you need it.
Not the greatest break in the world there. The cube having a little sort of bounce as it hit the front ball. Neil's customary shrug of the shoulders, left hand into pocket as ball doesn't go in. It's a bit of a rinse and repeat. That's his reaction to getting a dry break, bless him. Well, Morris gone straight for the reds and the jugular.
He has to.
And he has to get a wriggle on as well.
Yeah, he can't waste any time. If the finish is there, he knows. He's been in this position plenty of times. He knows he's just got to go and go quick. Any time he can put back into the match, he needs to take.
You hear that little bell there? That means we are now down to 15 seconds of shots as we approach the last 10 minutes of this match. Well, this is certainly quick fire from Morris. Perfect angle. Down the table now, Black in the bottom right hand corner, and this will be one of them. One of the 4 required.
Yeah, very good.
In she goes. The breaking out will be nice for Carl. Took his time with where he's hitting that ball, and he's gone dry and he's also gone mad. Heard him berating himself there. I'll have another look. Just look at the reaction. Yep. Why me? And they're pretty open. Yellow's choice of colour for Neil Raybone. As the first one departs into that corner pocket. He's in position. He's just realised he's on 15 seconds shot, so he's just about to amble around the table there for his next one, and there's oh, hang on, forgot about that bit. So he picked up the pace, put his roller skates on.
Stop calling out, please.
Well, that was perfect.
Yeah, this is dreamland now for Neil Raybone. He knows the job is done. This is 3 stop shots followed by an 8 ball. Beautiful work.
Nice work if you can get it.
Absolutely. These 3 balls for a spot in the quarterfinals, about as nice as it could be. Neil Raybone becomes the 8th person through to the Ultimate Pool Pro Series 5 quarterfinals. Super performance to dispatch Carl Morris.